I decided to make my documentary about how males at Skidmore refer to females. I went into this with a lot of preconceptions, even though I was instructed not to have them. And I realized as I was going through the interviews that many of these preconceptions were wrong. And it started off with the very first question. I initially asked, how do guys refer to girls? And some of the participants were very forthcoming and knew exactly what I was asking, while others weren't. I had to force it out of them to some degree. And they didn't use derogatory terms like I had planned, and instead they used words that they would say commonly. And many of them didn't use derogatory terms at all.
Whore,
Miss,
chick,
girl,
bitch,
woman,
hoe.
man.
Hate to say it, sometimes bitch.
By name.
Bitch. Everyone says bitch.
Uggs. Salad.
That girl, Sarah or something, the one with like the brown hair and da-da-da. If they don't know, then I'm gonna resort to like her body probably.
If it's a specific girl, then obviously different characteristics about that girl come to mind.
I don't really often use derogatory terms towards girls.
Following this, I wanted to find out how it all starts, and what age do they think it starts at, and why.
Especially in middle and high school, I don't think boys really have an adequate understanding of what calling a girl a derogatory term with respect to her sex life really, what kind of psychological damage that does. For me, it was 6th grade. I was in a very small class, 14 kids. And there was one girl who got around, and she was a really nice young woman. And she did not at all deserve to have a lot of the flack that was thrown her way.
Probably about elementary school. I guess it's probably started just naturally, just because I guess young boys are going through interacting with other girls and weren't exactly filtering what they say with them.
All of a sudden, almost unanimously, the conversation turned to the media.
Well, I mean, the media, of course.
How so?
Well, just, you watch a rap video and it's like, oh, my bitch is, and it shows some of those bitches. Like, that guy's got a lot of bitches.
I think a lot of it also comes from like pop culture and stuff like that. I think it has to do a lot also with the media. So like once kids start getting exposed to that and starting being like, socialized with the fact that it's okay to use certain words to describe girls.
Movies, shows, this is from the media. And they take root. The internet is another huge one. You've got blogs, forums, YouTube, videos.
One thing I think guys aren't gonna want to admit is probably porn. I mean, in that idea of like...
Well, that's still media. That's
it's
relevant media.
But like, I mean, I don't think... everyone always wants to say TV. I don't think it's TV.
I think it would be a lot better if boys could stay away from terms like slut or whore or prostitute or skank. Skank is another big one.
The terms that guys use to talk about girls is almost a way to assert dominance, I've realized. This was not said in the interview, but from what I got, I realized that a lot of it is a persona that they try to put on, that guys try to put on in general, in order to show off an image that they might not be, but that they want to be.
Back in the day when all the drama would go on over AIM, Instant Messenger, and when a boy would tell a girl she was a whore, of course she didn't have the balls to say that to her face.
The same kind of idea that you're using it, but you're just enforcing the dominance and allowing men to continue to use that word derogatorily. It's saying necessarily to like put them down, even though it kind of does seem like a dominating thing. Like, if a girl's a bitch, then she's seen as less than a man.
To be a bitch is to like be underneath. And I mean, just in culture, we live in a pretty male-dominant culture, even though we don't want to admit it. But like, bitches mean like she's my bitch. She does what I tell her to do.
Even way back into like the 1800s, when women were always frowned upon as in like just being generally looked at as like the housewives or someone who stays at home and takes care of the children. I feel like women are definitely getting a increasingly more power in the society, but generally I think the term is always going to be there. I don't think it'll be completely eliminated. Same with racism. Something as kind of as big as that is.
A lot of the questions I planned to ask, were not answered, and that is perfectly fine because the conversation didn't take us there, it took us to a different route. And I'm realizing that it was not, the questions I had prepared to ask were not the ones that needed to be asked to get the information that I wanted.